So continuing on, so we've got a couple of micro mating nooks. These are all full, and I've raised queens from all of them. The red one is the last one. It is almost the end of July, so I'm getting to the point where I'm no longer doing splits. I'm going to try to do one more, depending on how my other hive is that I'm planning on splitting from, and I'll show you that in a second. So this is just another variation of a double nook, and I have two feed boxes. So basically they're just half height with a screen on top that you can lift off the screen and fill your feed, pollen, nectar, whatever, sugar syrup, whatever. And I have one queen in there that had kind of jumped ship, and I clip all my queen's wings, and that kind of helps me maintain and keep track of, so I don't have swarms, and I manage the hives very well, that I've never had a swarm. Of course, this is my first year with this many hives, so we'll see what next year brings. This is probably my best double nook right here. The bottom 4 frames are completely full. They're packed over. I took a frame of brood for another hive, and so they built that back up fairly quickly. And the upper 4, one of them they've drawn out and is getting filled with nectar right now, so I anticipate it'll be full. This might be the one that I might split 2 frames off of for that orange double nook, or double frame nook. And then we have this one here. The one on the right side, that one, it took me all summer. For some reason they would not accept a queen, and I've been trying to graft larvae, and I actually finally got one to be accepted out of 20 that I'd put in there. And it was packed full of bees, but they just, for some reason, they wanted the right one, and they finally got it. And what had happened, the history behind this, is it had a queen cell that they drew out from a frame of brood, and they it hatched, and I was doing an inspection, because you know it's good to inspect when you expect the queens to hatch, to make sure that they hatch. You don't have to go into defense mode or anything. And the queen flew off. It was a virgin queen. You could tell she was kind of small, and she flew back around. She landed on the frame, and they all balled her immediately. And so then she flew off, and I closed it up. I'm like, so I'm gonna have to figure out what I'm gonna do next. She came flying back to the entrance, and of course they wouldn't let her in, and it was just really odd. So after that, it was a fight. So I finally got him. She's laying, so they're building up now. The one on the left, I actually took the queen for one of those other double nooks way down on the other end there, and they, for some reason, didn't like that on the other side, and they killed that queen, so that they had to raise a new queen there. And then this one just raised a queen, and she's huge. She's probably the biggest queen I've ever seen, actually. And so and these guys would dive bomb me from 20 yards away. This hive is so strong, the one on the left there, even though, so you can see some pollen going in right now. So even though they were queenless for a while, there's so many bees in it that you can see yellow jackets once in a while. A yellow jacket even goes by there, they will ball them on the outside of the hive. It's amazing. I've seen it twice already just this morning. So they're not happy campers when it comes to those yellow jackets. So my first hive, I split into this. So what I did is alternated some full frames with some half frames, because I'm trying to switch to these half NBs. Like I said, the full NBs are just so difficult to manage. The frames are so large. I mean, honey wise, production wise, they're amazing, but in terms of just managing, picking them up, it's easier to do 2 of these stacked on each other, which is equal to that. Maybe a little smaller, because you lose a little bit of frame on the top and the bottom. You lose a little bit of comb. So this is my newest design of the splits, where you can actually pull these off, and this is what I'm going to switch to become interchangeable. So I can basically take the top section and go to a completely another hive with it. So I actually like these really well. Plus the partitions aren't as thick, so the double nook for winter overwintering, I think will help them create that warmer cluster better together. And then the blue and the red, the outside hives, these are splits from my Langstroth. So I took one frame from each hive for each of these, so 4 frames total. The blue one I built, actually my first hive before I hand built the Langstroth hives. This blue one I built as a swarm trap to try to catch. And the red one, these are, I returned back to the US one time, and they had a clearance on these easy nooks that just come as a big sheet. So I bought a couple of these and boxed them up and sent them, brought them back on the plane with me. And they work really good for hauling bees around. So what I would do is, if I'm doing a split and I need nurse bees, I'll shake a bunch into one of these extra ones I have, close it up, that way they get good ventilation, put it in the shade, let them sit a few hours so they know they're queenless, and then go put them in a new hive. They're with some brood, and then they're more apt to stay. And it's got a nice little top feeder there that they actually, after a week, they finally just started using. And so this middle one is a NB style. It's just overflow. I'm trying to, get it to build up to put it into a full-size frame, or hive, I mean. And this, the blue and the red, they both actually just, queens just emerged just a little bit ago. Like yesterday, I noticed them. So yeah, so that's the little mini apiary. We have another one at another location where we have just the NB styles, so like the one there on the left. And then the net. The reason why I have the net is because I enjoy catching yellow jackets and killing them. It's a pleasant experience when they're not going in your hive decapitating bees and flying off with their heads. And that's about to start any day. So I like to try to catch them, and then especially in the spring. That's why this thing looks so nasty and old, because in the spring I'll catch as many of the queens, because that's all that's flying around, and try to eradicate those from at least this area. I mean, they're all around the world, so I have no concern that I'm causing any decrease in population. So this here is a little feeding station. This is kind of my telltale sign when there's a dearth. So I mean, you can look around, you can see I have some sunflowers, I have some other flowers going, and then all around us are sunflower fields, rhapsody fields, cornfield, so they get a little pollen from the corn. That's actually tasseling right now. So, well, actually, I mean, it's beyond that because the corn's growing. But this kind of gives me an indication when the bees start coming on this like crazy, then we know that the dearth is there, the nectar flow is gone, and then we need to start feeding like crazy. And this is how I feed. I feed with this, and then I have I think it's a 30 liter barrel, kind of based off of the Paul Kelly from the University of Guelph. He does the barrel feeding, which is really cool. I just use the small barrel because I don't have that many hives right now, but they will suck down 30 liters, just the one hive, in 2 days. It was insane. And the hive went from, I would say, like 30 pounds to 100 pounds in the 2 days. So they took everything and put it from the barrel into there. So it was amazing. So yeah, so next video I'll open up the hive and show you the frame.